Welcome to Oz Racing Wrap News, 24th of August 2010. I'm Shaun Garrity. Due to the slow nature of motorsport in Australia this week, we're going to spend a lot of time over in the States catching up with how the Aussies are going over there. We're going to kick it off with a win stateside for Will Power at Infineon Raceway. The win was Will's fifth of the IndyCar season, and it came with his eighth pole of the season. The result also saw Will clinch the Mario Andretti road course title, and he, of course, leads the IndyCar Championship. It was a special weekend for Will, though. This is the track last year where he suffered a crash and he left the circuit with a broken back. His return this year has been nothing short of spectacular, and he reflected on that after the race in his post-race comments, describing it as a perfect weekend. He also noted he couldn't thank Roger Penske and Tim Sidrick, the team president, enough for all their help in coming back, and the Verizon crew for providing him the car that delivered his fifth win. They gave him a fantastic opportunity, and he's so happy to be part of the team. Certainly many people wondered about Will becoming the third driver down there at Penske. The move's paid off. He's easily the best driver this season for the team, and whilst he may have started off in many minds as the third driver, he's certainly now the number one at that team, and both Helio Castroneves and Aussie Ryan Briscoe as teammates are struggling to keep up with Will's pace. Also over in the States this weekend, another round of the NASCAR Series Sprint Cup race, this time in Bristol. Marcus Ambrose managed to qualify a bit better this weekend and started in 22nd. Sadly, by the end of the race, he could only improve 2 spots to 20th. Marcus felt the car was probably good enough for a top 10 finish, but a late caution saw him go a lap down and he didn't have sufficient time to get back onto the lead lap and challenge for that top 10 spot. He noted after the race about the shame with the late caution. He thought that hurt them a lot, and he definitely felt the car could finish in the top 10 if they'd had a clean run to the flag. It was a big struggle early. He noted that the sun actually on the track had caused them a lot of handling problems early in the race, so they chased the car for most of it, and he was pretty happy with the result in the end, albeit that it wasn't quite as high as he wanted, but the crew made good strides with the car throughout the race at the stops. So a good result for Marcus there, 20th, coming on the back of a 15th last weekend. Also racing over in the States this weekend at Road America was David Brabham in the American Le Mans Series, where he's a driver for the Patron Highcroft team. David was defending a perfect record at Road America in the Arms Series. Unfortunately, the team struggled a bit this weekend with straight line speed, and whilst they made adjustments throughout the weekend, it was a bit of a trade-off. Wherever they gained speed on the straights, the handling in the corners became a bit of an issue for them, and they were never quite on top of the car the whole weekend. In the end, they battled on for third and were in the battle for the win, but couldn't quite get there with those handling problems. David noted after the race that the team had worked well all weekend in looking for that better setup on the straights, but as he said, it was tough. Everything they did ended up causing them some compromises in the turns, and he just felt at the end that third was about as good as they could do, and was pretty happy that they were actually fighting for the win in the end anyway. Next weekend's a very big weekend for David. He will take part in the series in Canada at the Motorsport circuit up there in Canada, and it will be his 100th start in the American Le Mans Series. David, of course, a winner at Le Mans for another team, and this year was the first year that Patron Highcroft actually competed in Le Mans in their own right, and it's great to see him making his 100th start in the series. He's been a multiple-time winner in the series, and he's really a star of that series over there, and he's having another very good year for Patron Highcroft. And adding to the feature of Australians in America, well, we had more V8 supercar drivers over this weekend. We reported last week on the Kelly brothers. This week it was Alex Davison and the Stone brothers over there as guest of sponsor Irwin Tools. They did some sponsorship duties around Irwin. They caught up with the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and they, of course, visited Bristol on the weekend for the race. They took the chance to catch up with Marcus in the pits and also pre-race ad on the track, and it was a bit like an Australian Embassy ad there on the track, because also out there talking to Marcus while Alex Davison was out there was Owen Kelly, Tim LaHaye, Paul Wheel, George Madecki and Marcus Marshall, and of course Alex's brother Will was also over stateside. So fair collection of Aussies on the track there, and probably been a while since NASCAR has seen that many Australians in the one spot at the one time. As we noted earlier, Marcus able to battle on for 20th in that race. The weekend, though, was special for another reason. Kyle Busch became the first driver ever to win all three categories at a NASCAR weekend. He took the win in the NASCAR Truck Series, the Nationwide Series, and the Sprint Cup Series. So Alex was pretty happy to be there as part of NASCAR history was laid down. He did note that whilst the majority of the 160,000 fans probably didn't like the result, there's no doubting that the win was a highlight of the week's trip to America and being there for that historic moment. Certainly an amazing weekend for Kyle Busch to win all three series, and obviously with the trucks, a completely different handling beast. So that's a great effort by Kyle Busch there, and good to see Aussies getting over to the States and having a look at NASCAR and hopefully bringing some of the stuff they learnt back here to the V8 Supercar Series. So that's the main stories of race results this weekend. Got a few breaking news items for you. Today it was announced by V8 Supercars that they had signed a 10-year contract with the Sandown circuit here in Melbourne. That'll see the series race there for the next 10 years. There'll be improvements to the pits and other amenities at the track. That work's already commenced, so that's a great deal for Sandown. It was a circuit some wondered about its future on the series, but a great commitment from V8 Supercars there. On the weekend, news that Greg Murphy's had some back problems that had put him in hospital over the weekend. He's in severe doubt to be able to race at Phillip Island, and there is talk that he may not even make it back for Bathurst, so he's in doubt for both Enduros at this stage, and we'll have to watch this space to see what develops there. This weekend in Melbourne, the Auto Saloon show is on at the showgrounds. A chance for all you people who like hotted up cars to pop down and see the latest trends. Hankook tyres in particular have a big display there, and they in particular have noted the effect of drifting, etc. on those cars, and encourage anybody who's into that sort of thing to get down to the showgrounds on either Saturday or Sunday this weekend to have a look. And lastly, in our breaking news, James Courtney has been nominated as a potential Sports Father of the Year. You can find some details at Oz Racing Wrap about that and the site where you can vote for James. But certainly we've noticed at Oz Racing Wrap he's a very caring father. We get many stories on James and his family and what he's doing with them, and to my mind a very worthy nomination for that award with some other big names. So if you'd like to support James, pop along to Oz Racing Wrap, find the link and go through and vote for James in that award. So that's all for the Oz Racing Wrap news this week. Don't forget you can keep up with the news throughout the week at ozracingwrap.com.au, and we certainly welcome your feedback at ozpodcast@ozracingwrap.com.au. Let us know what you think we're doing well, what we're not doing well, and we got some feedback late in the week last week from Robin McMahon. So Robin, thank you very much for your feedback. We're glad you're enjoying the news, and that you and hubby Neil are hopefully a regular viewer of the news each week, and we'll keep adding a little thing each week as we go along and try and make it better for you. But once again, thanks for watching Oz Racing Wrap News, and we'll be with you next week.